Hello and welcome back to the last video of this Hibernate course. In this video, we are going to cover a topic that we haven't been seeing in the course so far, and this is the creation of custom queries. Until now, we have been using our uh, CRUD controller to create, update, read, and delete um, entities from our database, and the generation of the SQL was entirely done by Hibernate. And as we could see, it worked very well. So for basic operations, we can rely entirely on the SQL creation of Hibernate. And um, but as we can see, for the reading, we need to know the primary key of our entity. And a very common use case and application is searching for entities by attributes. So for example, a very common use case would be to search for a customer by his name or by his first name or by his last name. And as we can see, there's no uh, there's no way we can do this with the find method because the find method will only use the primary key. And so to create a custom query, there are three different approaches that I will show you in this video today, and each of them can be used. Each of them, is fine to get used, and I just want to present you all three so you can make your own choice. And the first thing that I will show you is the HQL approach. And HQL, you can see HQL a bit like a Hibernate SQL dialect. So we are a bit back to writing SQL, and we will just um, yeah write a little method that we'll call HQL find by name. Yeah, that's perfect. And to make this approach work, we can write the statement. So we can just say string HQL equals, and then we say select C from customer C where C dot, and now we have to say first name, and I want to actually use equal, not like, and or C dot last name equals name. So we just write, so we basically write a SQL script, a SQL statement. We use placeholders, and then we can say return entity manager dot create query, and we pass the HQL and we pass the customer class to this method, and then we set the parameter, and then we call get result list. And this is all that we need to do. And yeah, the the syntax of HQL can be found in a lot of places on the internet, so I'm not going to dive deep into this now. I just want to show you, and this is true for all the three approaches that I'm going to show you. I just want to show you the approach, and then the investigation of the syntax, would be too much for this video. So I will just show you the different ways that we can do it. Okay, so we just restart the server. We can see that we have our statement. And I will also have a little look at the database to see which customers are on the database. Once the server has started, we can see that we have Jürgen Klopp and Carlo Ancelotti. I will go to the generated requests, and I will call this. So I will call the endpoint find by name, and I will pass Carlo as the name parameter. And we can see that we actually get back our customer Carlo Ancelotti. And if I say Ancelotti, it will just return the same result because we can either search for the first or for the last name. So this is the first approach. We can use HQL. The second approach is the JPA, is using JPA criteria RP. So we are going to use that. And in the method before, we basically wrote some sort of SQL, and this time we will write SQL in Java. Let's call it this way. So the first thing that we need is the criteria builder. We say entity manager.get criteria builder, and then we will write a criteria query where we can just say builder.create query customer.class, and then we need a root object. So we say root equals criteria from customer.class point.class. So this is basically our from statement. And now we go and say criteria dot select root, and then we are going to say dot where, and then we are going to say builder dot or, and then we are going to say builder dot equal root dot get first name, and then we are going to pass the name parameter to this. Yeah, name, and then we say builder dot equal root dot get last name, and then we are already finished. Okay. I think I need one more brace at the end. Yeah. So this is the way basically of writing SQL in Java. So we are saying criteria select root where the name is equal to first name or the name is equal to last name. We pass the name parameter, and at the end we will just call again entity manager dot create query and get result list. So you can see that the method that we call at the end is very similar. Create query and get result list, but the way we generate our SQL is very different. On the one hand, we have just a string, and on the other hand, we have this very, verbose criteria API. And I don't know what you think about it, but for me, it does not look very intuitive in the first place. I have been working with this criteria API for quite some time now, so I got used to the syntax. But yeah, I think maybe for the beginning, the HQL is a bit easier. But that's your choice, and I will just start the server again, so we can see if this criteria API approach actually works. And I will just change this to criteria API, and I will call the method, and we see that we get the correct result for the last name, and we also get the correct result for the first name. So this approach works as well. Okay, for the last approach, we will actually leave the Hibernate only word, and we will use another framework, which is Spring Data JPA, and we already are using this framework. If you remember the first video where we did the project setup, we saw that we have Spring Boot Starter JPA included in our POM, and this approach is the repository approach. So Spring Data JPA provides an interface that is the JPA repository. And you can extend this JPA repository by your own repository, in this case, a customer repository. And then this repository will generate methods for you. It will already generate methods for you in the default case, but you can also add additional methods that will also generate for you. So if you define a method in this custom repository that is called find by first name or last name, and then you pass two parameters, so a first name parameter and the last name parameter. This will actually generate a method for you that will do as it says, find a customer by first or by last name. And yeah, this is probably the easiest approach. So we can just get to the get mapping. I will just copy the method signature, and we call this repository find by name. Also call the method this way. And then we basically only have to say return customer repository dot find by first or last name, and then pass the name parameter twice. And I already have injected the customer repository into our customer CRUD controller. Yeah, and that's about it. So this is a single line of code. And once we have started the server, we can check if the endpoint actually works. So we just change this to repository and execute it. We can see that it works for the first name, and we can see that it works for the last name as well. Okay, so that's about it. These are the three ways that I would recommend to create custom queries to your database. It's the HQL approach, it's the criteria API approach, and it is the repository approach. Each of them comes with pros and cons, and at the end the choice is up to you which one you want to use, which one suits your application design the best. Okay, and this was the last video for this Hibernate course. I hope you have learned something. I hope you enjoyed the course, and you can use Hibernate now with a lot of confidence in your own projects. I would really appreciate a like on this video or a comment if you have any question or suggestions for this video. In the future, I will continue making more videos about Hibernate, but little shorter videos that will cover very specific topics. And yeah, until then, see you next time. Bye.